Namaste friends, I am back with a short video. In this video, I will weigh in on a few current political topics. First, I will give my prediction for the November 2024 election of US. I will also look at India and weigh in on whether any unrest is possible in India and any change of government is possible in India. Is there potential for Rahul Gandhi to replace Sri Narendra Modi ji? How is the future for Sri Narendra Modi ji? And what is after Sri Narendra Modi ji for India? I will try to weigh in on those. And also I will look at the chart of, I will revisit the chart of Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal State of India. First, US election. uh, Currently, the opinion polls are very close. Even though Kamala Harris has an edge, in the battleground states, it is statistically a tie. And if we look back historically in 2016 and 2020, Donald Trump underpolled, heavily underpolled in the opinion polls in battleground states. In a couple of battleground states, he was trailing Biden by 12 percentage points, as close to the election day, actually on the election day. But the election ended up being very close. Biden won by a whisker. So he tends to underpoll in the battleground states. So this is very dicey right now. But astrologically, I expect Kamala Harris to have a convincing win. I don't expect Trump to win at all. I expect Kamala Harris to have a convincing enough win that the Republican Party will be able to put Donald Trump behind them. And I expect Trump to have grip over the party for a few more months, but from late 2025 onwards, I expect his grip on the party to be weakened. And in 2026 and 2027 time frame, I expect Trump to face serious problems and potentially be in prison or exile or some form of confinement. And also, Republican Party will move on from him and they will rebuild the party. The MAGA wing, the Make America Great Again wing of the party, will be reintegrated with the larger Republican platform, and the party will finally be able to move on from Trump. So I expect that 2026-27 timeframe will be the end of Donald Trump politically. And in the House and Senate elections, the most likely scenario is that Democrats will win one wing and the Republicans will win the other wing. That seems like the most likely scenario. But this time period is really good for Barack Obama, who has a strong grip over the Democratic Party and the DNC, the Democratic National Council. And he has such a powerful time that I will actually not be surprised if Democrats win not only the presidency but both the wings, both the House of Representatives and the Senate. But logically speaking, Democrats keeping the Senate seems extremely unlikely because a few candidates in Republican states who are currently Democratic incumbents are up for re-election, and it's very unlikely that they will keep the seats. But astrologically speaking, purely astrologically, I will not be surprised at all if Democrats win all the three wings of power in this election. But they will at least win two wings of power. And as I said, the Republican Party will be able to move on from Trump from 2025, particularly 2026 onwards. And coming to India, I do expect some efforts to create unrest in India. And fortunately, the last year was a problematic year for India, a year when chaos was possible. And after August 2024, after the Independence Day, things are improving for India. Things are more stable. And particularly after March, when the Ashtama Shani will end for India, Shani will move from Aquarius to Pisces. So Ashtama Shani will be over. And moreover, Shani is the 10th house of governance in India's independence chart. He will move to the 11th house of gain. So basically the problems in governance will start to improve from March 2025. So bottom line is, till August was a bad time for India, last several months. And from August till March is slightly dicey but better. But from March 2025, things will improve for India. And as far as Rahul Gandhi's time is concerned, the last year meaning till his birthday in June, was his best opportunity to become India's Prime Minister. This year, June 2024 till June 2025 is still a pretty decent year for him. So he can make waves and he can make news and he can seem like a promising candidate, but his chart does not have the potential to be prime minister. And moreover, after June 2025 is going to be really problematic time for him. So overall, I think that Modi ji, and moreover, after September, after his birthday, Modi ji has a better year ahead. So overall, I don't expect any success in terms of the efforts by foreign forces to create unrest in India, kind of like Bangladesh. So there will be efforts, but they will not be successful. And particularly after March, after September, things will improve. After March, things will improve further. So I don't expect any danger to see Narendra Modi ji's government. He will continue to rule. As a matter of fact, I expect him to get stronger through the next 12 months, and particularly after next March. But having said that, I do expect that Sri Narendra Modi ji does not have more than a couple of years, or at best 3 years, at the helm of India. So BJP will be very wise, very well advised to plan the transition from now onwards. If they don't, it will be chaos a couple of years from now. So they have to plan who is the next person after Narendra Modi ji. And in spite of his perceived current weakness, I do think that Yogi Adityanath is the next. He's the successor to Narendra Modi ji, and BJP will be well advised to plan the transition from Narendra Modi ji to Yogi Adityanath. And if Sri Amit Shah has aspirations, prime ministerial aspirations, in my opinion, that's a bad idea. He will be better off supporting, just like he supported Narendra Modi ji, better off being the brains and support behind Yogi Adityanath and make peace with him, rather than if he competes with if he continues to compete with Yogi Adityanath and he wants to become prime minister, I'm afraid he will go LK Advani way. Basically, Narendra Modi ji is the new Vajpayee, and Sri Amit Shah is the new LK Advani, and Yogi Adityanath is the new Narendra Modi. So there is a good potential for Sri Amit Shah to make peace with Yogi Adityanath and continue to work with him post Narendra Modi ji. That will be the wise course of action. But if he insists on competing with Yogi Adityanath and suppressing Yogi Adityanath, I don't expect that he will succeed. It will end badly. So from BJP party perspective, it will be wise to consider Yogi Adityanath as the next leader, next prime minister, and make the plan about the next couple of years. I don't really see Narendra Modi ji remaining prime minister 3 years from now. As far as as far as Mamata Banerjee ji is concerned, her good time ended a while back in late 2022, and she had a few vulnerable periods when she could have fallen, but she survived them already. But a major vulnerable period started again recently, in June July time frame, and the next couple of months, particularly from late September till mid November, that is a very vulnerable period for her. So if her enemies want to take her down, this is their best opportunity. One thing to note about Sri Mamata Banerjee is, as far as I know and I understand, she has an army of tantrics who are constantly working for her and doing various rituals for her. As a matter of fact, many Indian politicians, even those who are working against Hindu causes, they do this. And Mamata Banerjee ji is known to have tantrics working for her, and she herself chants Durga Saptati, etc. So the thing is, some of the pujas and rituals and remedies, upayas, they can delay the onset of bad periods, and they can delay the end of good periods, but they can't really change things drastically. So at some stage, somebody will have to face the music when a bad period starts. So if not this vulnerable period, the next one, if not that, the next one will take her down. But the current vulnerable period is a really major vulnerable period. So there is a good chance that she will be taken down in this period, basically late September, October, and first half of November. So time doesn't really look that good for her. And some people ask me about my opinion on the Bangladesh situation. Unfortunately, I don't have a reliable chart for Bangladesh. When I use the lunar and solar New Year charts, etc., they are not really great for showing your own destiny that is unfolding. Basically, uh, things like COVID, etc., things that are based on your geographical position, whatever is happening in the world, how it will affect you, those kind of things are better, are shown clearly in lunar and solar, new year, new month, etc. charts. But for your own destiny, your own chart, your own independence chart or formation chart is more important. We have it for India. Unfortunately, we don't have it for Bangladesh. There are a couple of charts, one in December, one in November, one in March, used by different astrologers, and I haven't really found any of them working well. So I'm still looking for a reliable chart of Bangladesh. So I will, I will leave Bangladesh for now. So, but I do hope that the Hindus in Bangladesh have a better time ahead of them. I genuinely pray to God for that. Now, those who are not interested in technical astrological analysis can drop out now, but those who are interested, there's going to be a lot of interesting material going forward in the next part of the video. Let us start with the chart of former President Donald Trump. In his Rasi chart, Lagna Lord's Sun is at 1 degree, whereas Rahu is at around 29 degree Taurus. So even though you may think that they are in different signs, they are in the first house from each other based on the longitude. So Ashtotri Dasha does apply, and because the planet Mars, who is the controlling planet for Ashtotri Dasha, is in an Adhimitra Rasi, he is strong, it dominates over Vimshotri Dasha. And if you look at his Ashtotri Dasha, you see that it was the Rahu period in which he was a businessman. Rahu is the 7th lord in the 10th house. So he was a businessman and got into a lot of ventures. And Venus, the 10th lord in the 12th house. So during his period, he had some setbacks in his career. He had multiple bankruptcies. He was almost on the road a few times. But Venus is the planet of beauty and aesthetics. So through entertainment and through Miss Universe pageant, he basically re-established himself. And Sun Dasha, Sun is the Lagna Lord in the 11th house, aspecting the 5th house of power. Moreover, he is the dispositor of the Yokaraka Mars. So he gives power. So in this period, 2014 June to 2020 June, he became a successful political leader. He became the president of US. And in Moon Dasha, he fell. Moon is the 12th lord of laws. He's in the 4th house. And if you look at actually Bhava wise, he's in the 5th house of power. So basically, the 12th lord of laws in the 5th house of power shows losing power. If you look at the longitude, Moon is at the end of Scorpio. So he's in deep Gandanta. He is also debilitated, and he is within a degree, actually within half a degree, within 24 seconds, he is afflicted by Ketu. So that's basically he's badly afflicted. He is eclipsed. So he's a terrible planet. So no wonder during the moon period he lost the election, and now he's running basically moon Mercury period. And if you look at moon that brought the fall, but moon Mars, he kind of revived himself, because from taking moon as Lagna, Mars is the Lagna Lord in the 10th house, and also from Lagna, Mars is the Yokaraka. Whereas from moon, Mercury is the 8th Lord. So this period can bring further trouble. More importantly, moon Saturn can be a really terrible period, and that is 2026-27. So that can be the period of the final nail in his coffin in terms of his material life, politics, etc. So, and moreover, moon being the 12th lord, it is likely that he will face exile, imprisonment, some kind of confinement, etc., house arrest, or having to go to an asylum. Some kind of confinement or exile is very likely, the 12th house result. But the thing is, he has been he has been basically popular in his party. He has been controlling his party in spite of Moon Dasha starting. Let us focus on the Dasyamsa for that. If you look at the Vimshotri, the Tara Dasha of Dasyamsa from Moon, Moon is a strong planet in Kendra. So take Tara Dasha from Moon. You see that uh, Rahu Dasha has been running from 2007 to 2025 December, and Rahu is an interesting planet. Rahu is the fifth lord in fourth house, and he is in a Samsaptaka with the 10th lord moon, and I think it's pretty close. If you look at the longitude, 7.5 degree moon, and Rahu is 11.5 degrees, so within 4 degrees, pretty close. So Rahu is taking part in a Rajoga with moon, but the thing is, any Rajoga given by moon and Rahu can be very tricky. It can even collapse. So if you look at the Antardashas, it was during Rahu Mercury that he became the president of US, and from Rahu, Rahu is the fifth lord and Mercury is the ninth lord. So, and from Rahu, Mercury is aspecting he's the ninth lord with the fifth lord in the 11th house, aspecting fifth house. So, Rahu Mercury rise makes perfect sense, and Rahu Venus, see, Venus is actually Yokarka from Rahu. He is the fifth lord aspecting fifth. So, this is actually a pretty good period for him. So, even though he lost, he actually got a high number of votes, more votes than in 2016, but he still lost because based on the Rasi chart, a terrible Dasa had already started. So even though this was a good Dasa, he could not basically remain in power. But the thing is, given that he is still running the Rahu Dasa, his popularity in his party is still intact. But the thing is, currently at the time of the election, it is Rahu Moon that is running. And as we discussed earlier, Rahu Moon do give a Rajoga, but the thing is, because they are enemies and because of the weakness of Moon in the Rasi chart and affliction by Rahu Ketu, it is also possible that in Rahu Moon there is a final loss of power. And the more important thing is, if he wins, the swearing in will happen in Rahu Mars in 2025 January. And if you look at Mars is from the Lagna, he's in the 12th house of loss. From Rahu, the Dasa Lord, he's the Badaka Lord in the 9th house. So he shows break in the fortune. Basically, some uh, undiagnosable problems in the fortune. So it does not really show coming to power. And more importantly, if you look at the next Dasa after Rahu Dasa, Jupiter, he's the third and sixth lord. He's with the Badaka Lord. Sixth Lord and Badaka Lord are together in the ninth house. That's not good for fortune. That basically robs him of his fortune in career. So my overall assessment, looking at Rasi chart and the Samsa chart, is that he will lose. He is likely to lose the election in 2024 November and not be sworn in January 2025, but still be relevant and have some power over his party. But it's very likely after Jupiter Dasha starts in 2025 December, so 2026-27 time frame, there can be serious setbacks. He may lose control of his party. Basically, the party can move on from him. The Republican Party can rebuild itself, and basically the post-Trump era of the Republican Party will start in 2026-27 time period. And as we saw earlier, based on the Rasi chart Ashtotri Dasha, Rahu Saturn was running in the 2026-27 time period. So see, Saturn is in the 12th house, Moon is the, sorry, not Rahu Saturn, Moon Saturn. Moon is the 12th lord and Saturn is in the 12th house. So it's likely that that is the period when he will face exile or imprisonment, etc. Also, if you look at the transits, his moon is in Scorpio and he is facing Ardhashtama Shani. The Saturn is in the fourth house of peace and comfort. So it's not really a good transit. And Rahu is in the fifth house, he is not really conducive to getting political power. So it's not really a great time for him. And if we look at the Tajaka chart and Tithi Pravesh chart, let us look at 2024 Tajaka chart, which started in June 2024. As we discussed in a previous video, You may think that Lagna, fifth lord Venus is in Lagna, but he's actually in the 12th house. So basically, several planets are in the 12th house of loss. So this is not really positive from the Rasi chart perspective. And in the Dasyamsa, uh, you will see that the sixth lord and eighth lord, Sun and Mercury, are in Lagna. So that's not really a good combination. But the blessing is Saturn is exalted. And longitude wise, he is actually in the 11th house, aspecting the 5th house. So Lagna lord exalted, aspecting the 5th house, shows some power. And Yokarka Venus, he is not in Manakarka Sthana as you see here. If you look at the Bhavachakra of the Samsa, he is actually in the 7th house. So Venus is actually in the 7th house, Yokarka. So it's not bad. So Saturn and Venus are blessings, but Sun and Mercury are negative. So overall, this is a mixed chart with more negative perhaps. And if particularly if you look at the Dasha, see Sun in Lagna means Shashti Hayani Dasha will apply, and Moon and Jupiter have a Parivartana. So Moon acts as though he is in one house. So the controlling planet of Shashti Hayani Dasha, Moon, is strong. So we'll use Shashti Hayani Dasha, also known as Shashti Samadasha, for the Samsa chart. And if we do that, we see that Venus period is coming in the March-April time period, not at the time of elections. And before the elections, Sun period is running, and around the time of election, Mars period is running. So looking at these things, basically Mars is the Badhaka Lord, and he's basically debilitated, so he's not really showing any power. As a matter of fact, he's the 4th lord of loss of power, so it's not really conducive. And let's quickly check the Tithi Pravesh chart of 2024. If we look at the Tithi Pravesh chart of 2024, you see that 5th lord of power, Moon, is afflicted by Rahu. Moon at 2 degree. Okay, there is enough distance, so it's not that close. But 5th lord is in the 12th house of loss, so it's not conducive to it. It doesn't really show power. And Lagna lord Jupiter, he's in a neutral house. He's in the 4th house. So it's a mixed chart, but it's not really strongly indicating power. This is the Pravesh chart. And as we discussed, the transits are also mixed, and the overall dashas based on the natal chart are also suggesting losing power. So it's unlikely that Donald Trump will win in November 2024. But the thing is, my overall assessment is that till the end of 2025, he will maintain some control over the Republican Party. But late 2025, 26, 27 onwards, he will fade away, and that's the end of his political career, in my assessment. And now, we have to also look at the chart of Kamala Harris, because without basically looking at the opponent's chart, we can't really conclude. Who knows, she may have a weaker chart. So let us look at her chart. This is her data, and if you look at the dashas, see, first Rasi chart, you can just look at the normal Vimshotri Dasha like many people do. In that case, she's running Rahu Dasha, and at the time of coming to vice presidency, when she was elected as vice president, she was running Rahu Mercury. Rahu is the 9th lord in Lagna, Mercury is the Lagna lord in the 5th house, and then right now she is running Rahu Venus, and Venus is the 5th lord. And by the way, there is a Raj Yoga between 5th and 9th lords here, Maharaj Yoga. Basically, if the 5th and 9th lords are in Samsaptaka or conjunction, and then basically, and Lagna lord is strong, then basically it's a Maharaj Yoga. So the indications are strong, but the thing is, I actually like to use Taradasha based on Rahu, because Rahu is strong here. Rahu, according to some people, is exalted in the sign of Gemini, and he is a strong planet in quadrant. So if we take Taradasha from Rahu, I prefer that to Vimshatri Dasha in this chart. If we do this, we'll see that in the Jupiter Dasha, Jupiter is the 10th lord. So in the Jupiter Dasha, she was basically a lawyer, she was a prosecutor, and district attorney, etc. And Jupiter, 10th Lord, does show legal career, and he's in the 12th house of service, giving donation, service, etc. So basically, it shows welfare activity and then trying to help the downtrodden. And if you look at the Saturn Dasha, Saturn is the 9th Lord in the 9th house. So this was a Dasha of great rise. He gives great fortune, and in this period, she rose. I think she was elected as the Attorney General of California a little before this Dasha started in 2011, but all her important work came in this period. And later she was elected as the Senator of US from California state also in this period. So if we look at the Antardashas, I believe it was Saturn Mercury. Yeah, it is Saturn Mercury when she was elected as the Senator. So Saturn is the 9th Lord, Mercury is the Lagna Lord in the 5th house, and from Saturn, Mercury is the 5th Lord in the 9th house. So this is a fantastic Dasha. And then it was the Venus Antardasha. Venus is Yokarkar from Saturn, and there is a Rajoga between them. So it is Venus Saturn, Maharaj Yoga actually, not Rajoga. So it is Venus Saturn, Venus Mercury when she became the senator, Saturn Mercury when she became the senator, and Saturn Venus when she became the vice president. And right now she is running Saturn Mars. And if you look at Mars is the 10th lord from Saturn, and he is in the 6th house. He's the third lord, but he is in the 6th house in debility. So third lord debilitated in the 6th house is pretty good. So it shows destroying enemies. And also from Saturn for Mars, 6th house placement is a good placement. So, but the thing is, it's not giving a straight Rajoga like as we have seen with Mercury, Venus, Antardashas. But the thing is, this is more conducive to coming to power. But the thing is, because from Saturn, Mars is the third lord debilitated in the 6th house, it's more like a Viparita Rajoga. So some unexpected sudden rise is possible. But what is more important is the Dasamsha Dasha. So let us look at the Dasamsha Mshotri. There also I use Tara Dasha from Rahu, because again the same thing applies as in Rashi chart. So you can see that it is Venus period. It is the Venus period when she became the district attorney, and also later attorney general, and all the political success came in the Venus period. And if you look, Venus is the 5th lord aspecting the 5th house. And if you look at the longitudes, Venus is at 16 degree and Jupiter is at 12 degree, and Saturn is far away. So Venus Saturn combination is not really a powerful yoga, but Venus Jupiter, the 10th lord and the 5th lord, they give a powerful Rajoga within 4 or 5 degrees. So in any case, Venus being the 5th lord aspecting the 5th house, and in a Rajoga with the 10th lord, he can give a lot of power. So it was the Venus period that gave her all the political success, all electoral success. And if you look, it is in the Venus Jupiter period that she became the senator, 2016 November, and she was sworn in 2017 January. So that was clearly Venus Jupiter period that is giving a Rajoga, that 5th lord and the 10th lord and also 7th lord Rajoga. And then it was the Venus Saturn when she was basically picked by Joe Biden to be his running mate, and she became the vice president. So it was Venus Saturn, and again Venus is the 5th lord and Saturn is the 9th lord, and they are together. Though there is big distance between them, they are still together. And from Venus, Saturn is the 10th lord in Lagna. So it's a good combination. And thirdly, right now it is the Dasha running is that of Mercury. And Mercury, he is the Lagna lord. So Venus, Saturn and Mercury are in mutual quadrants. If you see from Venus, Saturn is, you may think that you don't see this Bhava Chakra, you need to look at the longitudes. From Venus at 1647, Saturn at 220 is still in the 1st house. And Mercury is almost in exact quadrant from Saturn. So basically Lagna Lord, 9th Lord and 5th Lord are in mutual quadrant. So, and from Venus, Mercury is in the 10th house. So the trine lords in mutual quadrants, they will support each other. So just like Venus Saturn, Venus Mercury has a chance of continuing power rather than losing power. So it's very likely that she will be elected as the president of United States in November. And if you look at the transits, for Donald Trump, we said that Saturn is in Ardhashtama. Here, Saturn is actually in the 11th house of gains from natal moon. So that's a good transit. That is one of the three favorable transits for Saturn, 3, 6, and 11 houses. So some other transits, Rahu is not favorable, but Ketu is favorable in the 6th house and Jupiter is favorable in the 2nd house. Moreover, he is in his radical position. So 3 out of 4 slow moving planets are having very favorable transits for her right now. And one more point I want to make is, see, if you look at the stationary transits, let's look at the latest Saturn stationary. Saturn is a key planet in her Dasamsha and Rasi because he is the 9th lord in both the charts. If you look at Saturn's stationary transit before, on June 29, he was at 26 degree Aquarius, right? He was at 26 degree Aquarius and he became stationary. And now he basically started the retrogression at that time. So let us look at when he is becoming direct. So he becomes stationary again. So that is at 19 and half, so roughly 20 degrees, right? Around 19 and half degree, Saturn becomes stationary again. So this is November 15, around the time election results come. So if you look at her natal chart again, you see that Venus, the 5th lord of power in the Rasi chart, is at 2541 Leo. So when Saturn became stationary at 26 and half degrees in Aquarius, he was aspecting his natal Venus, the 5th lord. So that is why that was in June 29. So around that time, a few weeks later, Joe Biden dropped out and she suddenly was elevated as the presidential candidate. In general, if a stationary planet is aspecting or conjoining a key natal position within a couple of degrees, within 2-3 degrees, then around a month before or after that, some major event in life can happen, as I have shown in previous videos and an article on my website. And when he becomes stationary in November, on November 15, you see that he was around 19 and a half degrees, and see the Venus position here in the Dasamsha. This Venus, the 5th lord who's taking part in Rajoga, and moreover whose Dasha is running as per Dasamsha, he's at 17 degree Aries. So the Saturn is aspecting him within a couple of degrees. So that's also pretty conducive. Now let us look at the Tajka chart. This is the tricky part. If you look at the Tajka chart, you see that this is not really a superb Tajka chart. You see that the 5th lord Venus is in a friendly sign in the Lagna. So Yokaraka Venus blessing the Lagna is a positive, but he is afflicted by Jupiter, the 3rd and 12th lord. So it's not really that great. And the Lagna lord is in the 8th house. So he's not in a friendly sign, he's in an inimical sign. But the thing is, Lagna lord in the 8th house can show sudden positive events. But basically there isn't anything very crystal clear that shows that there is political power in this particular year. But this chart is more favorable than Donald Trump's 2024 Tajka chart. Okay. Oh, by the way, this chart starts just before the election. So actually, let's look at the Rasi chart. So what I was trying to say is, apart from the election results, it shows how the next year will be. So there can be a lot of challenges in her first year as president. If you look at the Rasi chart, you see that Moon and Jupiter, the 9th lord and the 5th lord, have a exalted 9th lord and 5th lord have a conjunction here in the 7th house, and they're aspecting the 1st house. Actually, longitude wise, they may be in the 8th house. I think they are. Yeah. So they are not. Jupiter is in the 8th house, Moon is still in the 7th house, but they are close enough, 20 degree and 28 degrees. So within 8 degrees, there is a conjunction between Moon and Jupiter. So that's That's a good combination. But overall, this is a positive chart, but not super positive. This is more positive than Trump. Let us look at the Tithi Pravesh chart of 2024. And if you look at this chart, you see that this is similar to Trump. Trump had the same Lagna, but Moon Rahu here. So here, the Lagna Lord Jupiter is in the 11th house, aspecting 5th house. Though he is debilitated, he is also retrograde. So there is a Nijabhanga. In any case, Lagna Lord aspecting 5th house is good. And the ninth Lord is in Lagna, which is a blessing, and in a Adhimitra Rasi, so it's a blessing for Lagna. 5th Lord Moon, he is afflicted by Rahu. There is 12-degree gap if you look at the longitude, so it's not bad, just like in Trump's case. But this 5th Lord is in a friendly sign, whereas Donald Trump's 5th Lord was in an inimical sign in the 12th house of loss. So again, this is more positive. And if you look at the Rasi chart, there is the 5th Lord is in the 10th house, and the 10th Lord is aspecting the 10th house. So this is a better chart, but there are no crystal clear indications that she will win. So this is why I was originally concerned about Kamala Harris chart, but if somebody other than Trump with a stronger annual charts and stronger natal dashas was running, she could have lost. But the thing is, given that is between her and Trump, she is very likely to win over Trump. And one more thing, I will be talking about a chart called Yoga Pravesha. It is another annual chart. I will be discussing that, I think, on September 29 in a master class for the master class 2024 master class series held by Raman and Rajeshwari Research Foundation. So I'll be you can find the details on my social media, and you can watch that master class on YouTube for free. I will basically introduce the Yoga Pravesh chart with a lot of examples, but I will briefly mention it here because I want to use that. One thing I see, 20 years back I experimented with various techniques. Yoga Pravesh as an annual chart was one of the techniques. It didn't seem to make sense, so I just stuck to Tajika and Tithi Pravesh and left it. But the thing is, after that, in the last 15 years, I have refined a lot of parameters like Ayanamsha and calculation of various divisional charts. So I'm systematically going back to techniques that I rejected in the past, one after the other, and seeing if they work. And Yoga Pravesh turned out to be pure gold. It really works well, particularly if I want to see when Rajogas are important, or Daridra Yogas, any important yogas fructify in the chart, it seems to work well. And my hypothesis is this: the Tajka chart is just based on Sun, and Sun is the Atma. So it shows your willpower, how your willpower is channeled during the year. Whereas Tithi Pravesh chart is based on the gap, the distance between Sun and Moon, the relation between Atma and mind basically. So, and also Tithi is that which is supposed to show your well-being, your happiness, etc. So, it basically shows your well-being, prosperity, sense of how you are doing basically in the year. So from that perspective, it throws light on events during the year, the ups and downs during the year. Whereas yoga, Tithi is basically out of the Panchangas. Tithi is related to the water element, which shows in general well-being, harmony of your mind. But the thing is, Akasha is shown by yoga. Okay, so Akasha is nothing but space element, ether or space. It is not explicitly there anywhere, but it is that which is binding everything together. It is the basis of everything. So when if you have a great yoga or a terrible yoga in your chart, there is something your karmas are binding you with the rest of the universe, and basically it shows how that binding works during the year. So what I have found practically, statistically, is when I look at Yoga Pravesha, when something important is happening, important life change is happening, when some important yoga, whether positive or negative, is fructifying in a year, that is shown in the Yoga Pravesha chart more than Tajka chart or the Pravesh chart. Let us actually illustrate that quickly. Let us go back to, of course, I will share a lot more examples in the September 2029 masterclass with Raman and Rajeshwari Research Foundation. But let us look at a couple of examples here. Now, by the way, this is not, though I'll be covering it newly, I'll be introducing it newly. It has been there in my software forever. So you already have access to it. So you can click under the Tithi Pravesha tab, Tithi Pravesha, Nakshatra Pravesha and Yoga Pravesha. Click Yoga Pravesha and let us look at 2016 Yoga Pravesha chart of Donald Trump because he won that year, right? If you look at his 2024 or 2016 Tithi Pravesha chart, you see that let us go to the Samsya based Bhava Chakra. So you see that the fifth house is occupied by the fifth lord Jupiter. So he is basically very strong. Though he is afflicted by Rahu, Rahu is the fourth lord. So basically, by the way, in Bhava Chakra you see that they are away, but in terms of longitudes they are actually pretty close. Jupiter is at 17 degrees, Rahu is at 20 degrees, so within 3 degrees. So this Jupiter Rahu combination is a yoga, fourth lord and ninth lord. So it's a Raj Yoga. So fifth house is pretty strong, and the Lagna Lord Mars, he's in Mola Trikona, and longitude wise he's basically in the seventh house, aspecting the first house. So Lagna Lord are strong, fifth house is very strong, and more importantly, Sun and Moon have a Parivartana. The ninth lord in the 10th lord in the ninth. So that's basically the Parivartana, Rashi Parivartana between 9th and 10th lords is a Raj Yoga. So this is a pretty powerful chart. So no wonder during this year he had a great success. His Raj Yoga in the natal chart fructified during that year. Now let us look at 2020 Tajaka chart. If you look at the 2020 Tajaka chart, focus on the Samsya, you see that Lagna Lord Moon is in Manakarka Sthana in the 8th house and he is eclipsed by Ketu. So Moon is afflicted and he is in Manakarka Sthana. And the 10th house of 10th house of career contains Saturn-Venus combination, the Badaka Lord and the 8th Lord. So that's not good for career. It's a setback, major setback in career. Fifth house of power is basically containing third lord and eighth lord, a malefic, functional malefic, particularly 12th lord of loss. So it can show loss of power. So this is not really a positive chart in terms of career basically. And let us look at Yoga Pravesha chart of 2024. So you see that the Lagna Lord Jupiter is aspecting Lagna, which is a blessing. But the thing is, the 10th house is 10th house has 8th Lord, 8th, 12th. Mars is also the 5th Lord, so Mars being there is good. But the thing is, he's actually, Mars is in the 9th house, so house-wise. So 10th house contains the 6th Lord, debilitated. So there is a debilitated planet in the 6th house. So it's not basically a positive combination. The 5th Lord of power, Mars, he's afflicted by 8th Lord Moon and Rahu Ketu. So it's not really, the 9th and 5th Lords are afflicted by 8th Lord and Rahu Ketu. So it's not a positive combination. But the thing is, there are some blessings. Lagna Lord aspecting Lagna, 6th Lord in debility, and the 10th Lord in a Adhimitra Rasi, Mercury. So it is not too bad. It is a decent chart. But the thing is, in the Rasi chart, you see that there is a predominance in the 8th house. Now let us compare that with Kamala Harris, because that it is all relative. It's comparative. So if you look at Kamala Harris 2024 Yoga Pravesh chart, now this is way different from Tajka and Tithi Pravesh chart. This is telling a very powerful story. In the Rasi chart, Lagna Lord is in the Lagna, 5th Lord is in 9th house, and Yokarka is in the 10th house. And but Dasamsa is more important. In the Dasamsa, the Lagna Lord and 5th Lord are together in the 10th house of power. Lagna Lord and the 5th Lord of power are together in the 10th house of career. And they are in a Samsaptaka with Yokarka and the 10th Lord Saturn. So Lagna Lord, 5th Lord, 10th Lord, 9th Lord. They are all on the axis, on giving Raj Yoga on the 10th house axis. And how are the longitudes? Venus is at 18 degree, Mercury is at 15 degree, Saturn is at 23 degrees. So Venus is within 3 degrees from Mercury and 5 degrees from Saturn. So this is a powerful Dasamsa. So this combination basically very clearly shows great fructification of power, and moreover the planets who are taking part in this yoga are the very same planets that are giving those yogas in the natal chart. So This is a very powerful chart. This very clearly to me over the last few years, I have realized that Yoga Pravesha is a more reliable chart for predicting political success than Tithi Pravesha and Tajka. And based on this chart, I basically conclude that Kamala Harris will have a very strong win. See, opinion polls are very close right now, especially in the battleground states. And historically, Trump has underpolled. In the opinion polls, he has done worse than the actual elections. For example, in some of the battleground states, he was trailing Joe Biden by 12 percentage points on the day of election. But when the results actually came, it was almost a tie. Biden just won by a whisker. So the thing is, and if Kamala Harris is ahead by a few percentage points, it doesn't mean anything. So it could be very close, but based on the charts, I will think that Kamala Harris will have a comfortable victory based on the charts. And one last thing I want to illustrate. See, Tithi Pravesh chart. When you look at the daily Tithi Pravesh chart, it shows your mood during the day, and it is very important. If you win versus if you lose, there will be a huge change in your mood during the day. So let us illustrate it with Donald Trump chart again. Let us take Donald Trump's chart. See, this is the technique using which I predicted Tom Brady to have a very convincing win in the Super Bowl of 2021 February. So let us switch to Tithi Pravesh because we are talking about the mood on the day. So January 20, 2016, 2070. So see, we don't know when the election results will come. Election results may or may not come immediately on the day of election or the day after. So let us look at the day of swearing in, because that day definitely the winner is in a very elated and excited mood and the loser is in a sad mood. So January 20, let us change the time zone. Oh, it is the right time zone. Actually 5 west. At that time the time zone will be 5 west. So let us take the time of swearing in, January 20, 2017. It is noon. So let us look at the daily chart active at that time for Donald Trump. So it started early morning on that day, January 20, 2:37 a.m. And if you look at this chart, the fifth lord of power, Sun, is exalted in the first house, right? I mean, in the Rasi chart, you see that the Lagna Lord is in the Rasi chart. Lagna Lord is in the fifth house of power, and he's in a Samsaptaka with Jupiter. And yeah, it's not really a Samsaptaka. So let's ignore that. But Lagna Lord is in the fifth house, so that's good. But more importantly, in the Dasyamsa, fifth lord of power, Sun, is exalted in the Lagna, and Lagna Lord Mars is in the fifth house. So there is an exchange between Lagna and fifth lord. That's terrific Rajoga. So there are other things, but this itself is enough. And now let us look at 2021, January 20. How is this daily Tithi Pravesh chart then? So if you look at this chart now, again Lagna Lord and ninth lord, there is a Samsaptaka between them. But the thing is, the fifth lord Jupiter of power is basically afflicted by Rahu. There is a Guru-Chandala Yoga involving the fifth lord of power. If you look at the longitude, Jupiter is at 7 degree, 7.5, and Rahu is at 9 degrees. So within 1.5 or 2 degrees. And moreover, Jupiter is the 8th lord in the 7th house and Saturn is the 7th lord in the 8th house. So this Parivartana is basically a Marka combination. Moreover, 8th lord and 7th lord are together, the other 7th lord, Rahu. They are together in the 7th house. Guru Chandala Yoga and Marka Yoga. So this is a terrible combination. And the other thing is, Yokarka Mars is afflicted by Ketu here. So, and also Rahu is closely aspecting that Mars. So there are negative combinations. So this is basically because of the Marka combination, he lost power on the day. And now let us look at how is his January 2025 chart. Because if he wins, he will be sworn in at this time. And the chart started the previous night at 7:39 p.m. And if you look at this chart, you see that the fifth lord is actually in the sixth house, which is basically the It's a Marka house from the fifth house. So, and the Lagna Lord Mars, he is again having Kujastambhana. Lagna Lord Mars is aspected by Rahu. So, it's not very close, but still there is Rahu aspect on the Lagna Lord Mars. So, that's not good. Lagna Lord is not particularly strong. Moreover, see, if you take the sixth house of rival as Lagna, then fifth lord exalted in Lagna, ninth lord also in Lagna, Lagna lord, ninth lord Parvartana. So this is a power more. This is a stronger chart for Aries than for Scorpio. So it is a better day for his rivals than for himself. So overall, looking at this, it's not really looking positive. And is it looking better for Kamala Harris? Let's look at her daily Pravesh chart. Oops, what happened? 5 degree west, let's take the time zone. It basically doesn't change any calculations. It shows all the when a new day started or new year started in that time zone. That's it basically. And even the birth chart doesn't change, but it shows the time. See, her actual time is not this, but it's converting to Eastern time zone basically. Her actual time is like 8:29 or something. So let us look at the yeah. So let's do the same. Click this. So it is starting the previous night, but a little later at 11:09 p.m. So now you see that Lagna is not this. Most planets will be in the same places, right? But Lagna is now Sagittarius instead of Scorpio. So now you see that the Lagna Lord is in the fifth house with exalted ninth Lord, and fifth Lord is in Lagna. So Parivartana between Lagna and fifth Lord, just like Trump's 2016 daily Tithi Pravesh chart. So Parivartana between Lagna Lord and fifth Lord, and exalted ninth Lord with the Lagna Lord in the fifth house. So this is much stronger. And one interesting point I want to point out here. Let's take Barack Obama's chart, because he is a key planet. I don't know. Let us look at Barack Obama's chart. RGZ. See, his Lagna is at 25, Capricorn 55. So when I change the time zone, the time has changed, but Lagna is still the same. So in other words, I am representing time in a different time zone, so that we get the right daily chart. So now January 20, 2025, same when the new president takes over. How is the day for Barack Obama? You see that the Lagna is the same basically. So again the same combination. So it shows basically basking in power, glory, celebration, etc. This is and if you look at the Rasi chart, this is even better than Kamala Harris Rasi chart. So here the Lagna Lord is in the fifth house, Venus with the fifth Lord Saturn. So it's showing great power, celebration of great power for Barack Obama. So it is very likely that the Democratic Party will do well, and Barack Obama, who has a lot of influence in the Democratic Party and the DNC, the Democratic National Council, right now, will be a very happy man at the time the next president takes over. Now let us look at the chart of look at some charts of India. So let us look at Sri Narendra Modi's chart. Let us look at the 2024 Tithi Pravesh chart, because this shows the mood and how happy, how sad you are during the year. And you see that the Lagna Lord Saturn is in the, let's make the Bhava Chakra of the Dasamsha. So Lagna Lord is in the 9th house, and the 9th Lord Mercury is also in the 9th house, even though he is in the sign of Libra. House-wise, he is in the 9th house. So that's basically that's a positive. And the Yokarka Venus is in the 7th house, aspecting Lagna. So this is a pretty good chart. So compared, I think after 2024 September, things will be better. And if we look at the 2025 chart, you see that the the ninth lord sun is afflicted by eighth lord moon and Rahu, and seventh lord Mercury is in the eighth house. So this is a pretty negative chart. So 2026 can be a very challenging year for Sri Narendra Modi ji. And let us look at Yoga Pravesh chart, by the way, the chart that I mentioned as being more important for political success. So let us look at the chart for 2023 year, the year that just when the elections were over. So if you look at this, the Samsa here, see in the Rasi chart, fifth house contains the fifth lord is the ninth house. That's good, but fifth house contains the eighth lord. So it shows some setbacks relating to power. And if you look at the Rasi chart, the Samsa chart, fifth house contains the sixth lord Ketu. So some depletion of power during the year. And also Lagna lord is in eighth house with third lord sun. So it's not really very positive. But the thing is, the fifth lord and ninth lord are together, but albeit in the 12th house. So with some compromises, given that fifth lord is strong in one sign, power will continue, but with some compromises. Moreover, there is a Rajoga between Venus Jupiter here and Venus Saturn. So overall, he retained power, but I was concerned that there may be some setbacks. He may have to depend on allies, and it may not be as big as people were expecting. So that is why I was cautioning the people that I know that don't take it for granted, don't be too overconfident, don't be complacent. This is a serious, this is not a great year, and the next year is likely to be better. But the thing is, I think Sri Narendra Modi ji has a couple of years left, basically maximum 3 years. I think they will have to find the next candidate. Basically, they have to make the transition. They have to plan the transition smartly. And let us quickly look at the chart of Rahul Gandhi. If you look at Rahul Gandhi's chart, first thing is people are concerned that maybe Rahul Gandhi can stage a coup, kind of like in Bangladesh. What happened in Bangladesh? The external forces can use Rahul Gandhi and prop him up to power. So if you look at his 2023 Yoga Pravesh chart, you see that the Lagna Lord is exalted in the 11th house, aspecting the 5th house. That's a great blessing. But the 5th house contains the 8th Lord. So that's not a positive. And also 5th Lord Mercury, even though he's in Scorpio, he's in the 8th house, longitude wise. So, but the thing is, this is a pretty strong chart. And if you look at the Rasi chart, Lagna Lord is in Lagna, 5th Lord is in 5th. So this is a pretty strong chart. This is why I was concerned that there, Rahul Gandhi will have his best chance ever in life to become Prime Minister. That's what I said in the annual video. But the thing is, in his natal chart, I didn't see the potential to be Prime Minister ever. So that is why I was, overall, when I balanced all the positives and negatives, I concluded that Narendra Modi ji will continue. But the thing is, I did say that this is Rahul Gandhi's best chance in life. But let us look at how is 2024 chart. If you look at the 2024 chart, you see that the 5th house is aspected by 5th lord Jupiter, but it is containing the 12th lord moon. So it's not conducive for coming to power. And if you look at the Lagna lord sun is in Lagna, very strong, but he is eclipsed by Ketu. So there are enough negatives. And moreover, in the Rasi chart, 8th house is very dominant, just like in Donald Trump's 2024 chart. So overall, next year, the year that started in 2024, the coming year, is also a pretty decent year for Rahul Gandhi. So the limelight that he has, because the India alliance has done much better than expected, and some of the influence he continues to exercise in Indian politics will continue for one more year. And based on India's chart, I showed earlier that there is Saturn in the 8th house from India. We'll actually do India's chart later. But basically till next March, things are dicey for India. So this is a good time for Rahul Gandhi to keep creating trouble. But if you look at the year after, the year from 2025 June, you see that the in this chart the lagna in the Dasamsa contains the 8th lord, so that's not really conducive. And the 5th house of power contains the 12th lord sun in an inimical sign, so that's not good. So and the 9th house of fortune contains Ketu, the planet of depletion. So overall, overall assessment is that Narendra Modi ji will continue to struggle, but next year is better for him. But 2026, 27 are very challenging years, and Rahul Gandhi will continue to basically have some amount of success till next mid 2025, but after that there is a big fall for him. And if you look at the India chart, this is India chart, you can see that Saturn is in the 8th house. So Ashtama Shani is running for India. So this is a very problematic period, and this will end in next March. Saturn will move to Pisces, so it's no longer Ashtama Shani. Moreover, from Lagna, instead of being in the 10th house of governance and disturbing the governance, he will be in the 11th house of gains. So from next March, things should improve for India. And if we look at the Tithi Pravesh chart, which shows the mood in the country during the year, as I showed earlier, in 2023 Tithi Pravesh chart, you see that 7th Lord Jupiter is in the 8th house with Rahu and Guru Chandala Yoga. So this is not a great, and Lagna Lord is in the 12th house with the 8th Lord Mars. So this is not a great year for India, but luckily Independence Day happened recently. So based on the Tithi Pravesh chart of the current year, the year that started last month, you see that Lagna Lord is in 7th house with the 5th Lord Jupiter. So there is a Raj Yoga and they are aspecting Lagna. The 10th Lord is in the 9th house. So it shows pretty decent governance. So this is a much better chart. So the thing is, in August some improvement started for India, and in March it will be more complete, and in next June Rahul Gandhi's fall will start. So overall, I don't think that any international plans to destabilize India, cause some riots and disturbance in India and demonstrations and trying to fell the Narendra Modi government and install Rahul Gandhi government, I don't expect it to succeed. I think that Rahul Gandhi will comment some influence, but basically never really cross the threshold. And then next year onwards, his good window is basically coming to an end. So I expect that from next spring or at least mid next year, things will be better for the NDA alliance. But having said that, see, Narendra Modi ji's chart does suggest that he's towards the end of his political success. So they will be really better off looking at Yogi Adityanath or Amit Shah as the alternative. In my opinion, Yogi Adityanath is the best alternative, irrespective of how it may look like right now. It may look like he's weak and all that, but he's the right leader. So if they move on, if they plan the transition in the next couple of years, it is likely to happen in 2026-27 time period. But they better get that going. Otherwise, it will be problematic. But I do think that things will be under control for BJP. So they will probably do it right. Now let us look at Mamata Banerjee chart. So I showed earlier that if you look at her Vimshotri Dasha of Dasamsa, you see that she ran Saturn Dasha from 2004, 2003, 2004 till 2022 October. And Saturn is the 10th lord of career, and he is in the 3rd house. And 3rd Saturn is very good. 3, 6 and 11 are good houses for Saturn. So this was a period of great political success for her. But the thing is, if we look at the next Dasha, Mercury Dasha started. And Mercury, he is the 3rd and 6th lord. He is a functional malefic in the chart. So this is not really a very favorable Dasha for her. So I expected that the Raj Yoga will end and she will have a fall. But one thing I did not take into account at that time is the Rasi chart. I sometimes go by the divisional chart and completely ignore the Rasi chart, but it is a good idea to take that also into account. And if you look at the Rasi chart, Jupiter is in a Kendra exalted, so Tara Dasha from Jupiter is the best Dasha. So if we look at that Dasha, she was running the Venus Dasha from 2004 till 2024. So this is the Dasha that basically gave her a lot of success. And if you look at the Rashi chart, Venus is the Yokarka 5th and 10th lord, and is in the 11th house of gains, aspecting the 5th house of power. So no wonder this was a great period for her. And but the thing is, Sandasa has started mid 2024. So Sun is the 8th lord, and he is eclipsed by, afflicted by Rahu. He's in the 12th house, he's in Manakarka Sthana. So this is not really a great period for her. So it is the fall that one was shown by the Dasyamsa Dasha after 2022 October can finally happen now. So the thing is, earlier also there were a few vulnerable periods that she survived, but right now the period is really problematic for her. Let us look at the 2024 Tajka chart. If you look at this chart, you see that the fifth lord of power is afflicted by Saturn and Ketu, the planets of depletion and loss. Saturn is the 12th lord. So that is one negative. And the other thing is Lagna lord is in 6th house. So there is a chance of problem during this year. And if you look at Tithi Pravesh chart, the chart of well-being, etc., you see that in the Tithi Pravesh chart, in the Rashi chart, Lagna is afflicted by Ketu. The 5th house of power is containing the 12th lord Sun, but 5th lord is strong in one sign. So, but the thing is, 7th lord Jupiter in the 8th house. It shows some serious problems in this year, death-like suffering in the year. And Lagna lord Saturn is in the 5th house, but he is basically afflicted by Mars and Ketu. So, and more importantly, the 5th lord is in the 4th house, the 12th house from it. So Lord of power is in last from it. So there are some negative indications here, but Yoga Pravesha, let us look at it. That is the final chart. So if you look at the Yoga Pravesha chart, you see that the 5th lord and Yokarka Venus is afflicted by Rahu, and he is also aspected by Badhaka Mars, and he is in the 12th house of loss. And Lagna Lord Saturn is in 5th house in a friendly sign, but is afflicted by enemy Sun, who is the 8th Lord. So there is a potential for fall during this year. Moreover, in the Rasi chart, 7th Lord and Lagna Lord are in the 8th house. 5th Lord, all the planets are in the 8th house. Lagna Lord, 5th Lord, and 7th Lord. So there is a Marga combination. So again, there are some positives also, like Saturn, 10th Lord in the 10th house, but this is another vulnerable period for her. So the next couple of months are based on the Dasya in the annual chart. The next few weeks are really a vulnerable period for her. So there is a chance that she will fall during this period. Let us. Yeah. So if you see, Jupiter is the 8th lord and Venus is the Lagna lord in the 8th house. So basically, these periods are running. So these periods can basically show a problem in her career. Yeah. Oh, actually, Saturn doesn't apply. Oops. Sorry. This is wrong. So Chaturasiti Samadesha doesn't apply, and let us just use the Vimshatri Dasha then. Sorry. Use the Vimshatri Dasha of the Rasi chart, not from Jupiter, but from Sun. Okay. Yeah. So Saturn period is running right now. Saturn is actually okay for her, but Mercury is the 5th lord in the 8th house. So it is the Mercury period when loss of power is possible. So that is towards the end of September, October, and early November. But overall, she is running a vulnerable period right now. So it is a good opportunity for her enemies to take her down. So I think I covered what I wanted to cover today. I will end this session. I will come back to you with more later on. Thank you very much. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु यावत् भूमण्डले सनातनधर्मो वर्धतु विशेषतः भारतखण्डे अमेरिकावर्षे टिबेट् राष्ट्रे च ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.